I'm Steve and I'm part of the team at Random Acts for Coffee and Soul Space Community. So I was born at Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I'm a local, went to Woodville High and lived around the Port area most of my life. My mum grew up just across the road from Albert and Oval, and my dad used to drive taxis part-time for port cabs, so I remember late night excursions around the wool sheds. His shortcut everywhere seemed to be somewhere through the back of the port and through the wool sheds. So every time we entered the port, it was sort of through that sort of way. So yeah, grew up around here, been part of my life for a long time. My ancestors were actually seafarers, and one of my great uncles, I think it was captain of the Fairlie back in the day. So had a long family history in the port. So Random Acts for Coffee is our community engagement, community development space, and we've been doing it for a few years now. We've been really excited about trying to create some space in the community. We love good coffee, we love serving good coffee, but coffee is just an excuse for a conversation. And so what we really want to do is hold some space open in the community where people can come, where people can meet each other, where they can get to know their neighbours, where they can get some stuff for free. We give away free bread and veggies and all sorts of other stuff, and give away free coffee, but most importantly we're just trying to create conversations with people. We do it because we love people. We do it because most of us have come from a church background but have decided that sitting inside the four walls of a church is probably not what we want to do. We want to be out where people are, loving our community, blessing our community and serving our community, and we figured coffee is a good way to do it. It's the modern social lubricant, coffee, and so there's not many people that don't like coffee these days, and so it's a great excuse. And there's this almost sacred space that happens around a coffee machine where you work, and it's amazing the stories that you hear from people, the conversations people have, the things that people will tell a barista. I guess in the old days it was they'd tell the hairdresser, right? But baristas become really special people. You get to hear people's stories, and especially since we've been here for a few years now and doing this for a few years, we get to know people and we journey with them, and we get to hear how their stories change and what they did last week and what they're planning to do this week, and learning people's names and learning their coffee orders and all those things. We're hoping to make people feel included and valued and welcome, and yeah, so that's why we do it. So we started off with Saturday mornings here at the Junction Community Centre and have been doing that here for a few years now. But we've also started to spread our wings. We do some other events within the community, helping out with some council events. A couple of weeks ago we were part of the Walk of Awareness across the bridge and part of the Aboriginal community, which is really exciting. We love being in that space. And started to do some barista training as well, especially for people on the margins. So just the last few days I've been up in the city training people who are homeless, people who have addiction issues, giving them a chance to learn how to make some coffee, learn how to develop some skills, hopefully that turns into employment for them one day, but also just to have fun and just to do something different for them, to make their own coffee, to celebrate just little wins as well has been great. So yeah, we love doing that sort of stuff. We do what we do because we love people, and we think that the community is becoming more and more disconnected in this world, and I think we want an opportunity to be able to bring people together, to build some connections, especially in the neighbourhood, to get people to get to know their neighbours. And so we want to do stuff very locally. We want to be embedded locally in our community. So our family live here in Ottawa. The people that come are our neighbours, and we get to know them. We're also getting to know them outside of Saturday morning coffee as well. And so we love people, and we just want to create some space for people to find themselves, to have safe space, people who are lonely. For some people this may be their only social outing of the week, or for people who just need to sit and have a chat with someone, for people that maybe they just need a decent coffee, and best coffee in Ottawa on a Saturday morning. Our wish for the future is that we become really embedded in our community. There's this old saying we used to say when I was pastoring churches. We used to talk about if our church disappeared from the community, would people even know? And we want to have such an impact that if we weren't here, people would miss us. Not because we're here, not because the coffee's gone, but because this was the place that was safe for them to come and share their stories and meet other people. And so we did it a couple of weeks ago. It was raining and we couldn't be here, and we had numerous Facebook messages and text messages. Why aren't you guys here this morning? And so we're starting to know that we're sort of in this community, and we're getting known and we're getting to know people. And so our dream is to just keep doing that and keep creating this safe place for people to come. If there's one thing I wanted to say to people, it's that despite how crazy the world is, despite how messy life can feel at times and how disconnected you feel, there's always hope. There's always something you can do, and there's always somewhere. It might take a little bit to find it, but there's always somewhere where someone might just be kind to you. Someone might just offer you a simple act of a cup of coffee, a simple act of a conversation, a simple act of listening. I don't think we listen to people anywhere near as well as we used to, and we're not good at it now, and we just rush on. And so giving the gift of just listening to someone can be life-changing for someone. The happiest moment of my life, my wife would expect me to say it's a wedding day. My kids would expect me to say the day they were born. Although my boys may possibly say the 2004 grand final when Port won. That was a pretty good day. I think happiest, probably the most significant day where I came away feeling grateful at the end of the day. I work part-time for an international aid organisation, and this time last year I was in Cambodia. And just to see resilience of people who really don't have much, who have so little, but knowing that, and it applies back to us here too, people who are doing it tough, they don't want to be poor, they don't want to be marginalised, and you give them a little bit of hope and you can see how they can transform their lives. Not by doing stuff for them, but by doing stuff with them and alongside them. And so I think I become happy and grateful when I see people even take a small step towards changing something that makes their life better for them, that they're in control of. Not that someone's doing for them or doing to them, but they actually choose to take the step. They do it and they see the change and the result. I think that's what makes me happy. So we do have a team, a great team. It's a small team, and that has its challenges at times. Some mornings when half the team doesn't turn up and we're flooded and making coffees. But it also means that we don't have lots of structure and lots of processes to go through, so we can be really flexible and we can react and respond to things quite quickly as well. So, but the team are great. They're really committed and they're really dedicated, and they're here early every Saturday morning to set up, and they're here late packing up. And it's a great team, and we have people as young as 6 or 7 and people as old as in their 90s, and they just come and they just love either making coffees or just sitting and hanging out and chatting with people. We couldn't do it without a team. It's not a one-man show. It's not a 2-person show. It's a team effort, and they're committed and they're dedicated, and they put their own time and they put their own money into it, and we're just I'm really grateful for them. Yeah, everyone's welcome. Every Saturday morning at the junction, as long as it's not raining or as long as it's not 47 degrees, we'll be here. And everyone's welcome. Come and have a coffee, come and have a chat. Please, yeah, you're welcome. You can find us on Facebook as well, Random Acts of Coffee Adelaide, Facebook and Instagram, and follow the journey, and yeah, you're welcome anytime. Please come. 2 people come to mind. First one is probably, well, 3 people. My parents, I think, have been really influential in, I grew up in the western suburbs, and my dad was a tradie. We didn't have a lot of money. Dad worked 2 jobs, Mum worked, but they worked really hard at giving us kids everything we needed. You know, I don't remember a time as a kid having to ask for anything. You know, there was enough stuff. I look back and I realise we were probably poorer than I thought we were. So I think that shaped me about just, there's always a way to help. There's always a way to do something. Our house was always open, and people would always hang out at our house, and Mum and Dad just made people feel welcome. So I think them, and I know this probably sounds a bit religious, but I'm really struck by the teaching of Jesus as well, and not the religious stuff and not the legalistic stuff that some people get into, but this idea that everyone's worth something, everyone's valuable, and everyone needs to be treated with dignity and respect. And You know, I love that Jesus gets mad with institutional people and gets mad with the religious leaders for not doing that. So I try and live that way. I try and be kind to people in a way that is empowering for them and makes them feel worth and dignity and value.